clears his throat, the way men do when they don't want other men to know they're about to lose it. She's down here at MCV. It's her heart, they think. It don't look good, Willie. I tell him I'll be there as soon as I can make myself a cup of coffee. A camel or two on the way is in the offing, too. Stop smoking was not one of my New Year's resolutions. I wonder why Philomena Slade, Richard's long-suffering mother, wants to see her first cousin once removed on a day when she has more important things to consider, like trying to stay alive. It seems rude to ask. Richard anticipates my confusion. She says she wanted to tell you something about Artie. She said it was important. I'll be right there. The coffee can wait. Chapter 2. Artie is, or was, Artie Lee. He and I share some history, too, or at least some DNA. He was my father, the dad I never had. He died before I was talking. I have almost no memory of him. He and Peggy never got married, mostly because I was born 7 years before the Supreme Court forced the Commonwealth of Virginia to let African Americans and white folks marry each other, even after they didn't have a non-Caucasian adult male around to remind them of their grandson's provenance. Peggy's parents pretty much put my mother and me on the missing persons list. Peggy's never talked much about Artie, and I have to admit that he hasn't crossed my mind in some time. He is an abstraction, an absence I never really felt. Judging from the quality of the bastards who lived with my mother intermittently when I was growing up, the lack of a male presence in your childhood is not a fate worse than death. Artie Lee has been a closed book to me, one I never had any urge to open. So why the hell does Philomena Slade suddenly want to tell me something about my dear old dad? Richard said MCV, but he meant Virginia Commonwealth University Medical Center. Hell, they only changed the name 14 years ago. We don't embrace change here in Richmond, where holding back the hands of time is a 24-hour-a-day job. The hospital parking deck is as empty as it ever gets. It's still a few minutes shy of 10 o'clock, a tad early for visitors, especially on New Year's Day. I only get lost once, trying to find the area of the complex where they're trying to save Philomena. I do manage to grab a cup of coffee along the way. Richard comes to get me in the visitors area and takes me through the maze I'll need help extracting myself from, and finally we come to his mother's room. They brought Philomena in by ambulance last night. I can imagine what a clusterfuck that must have been. New Year's Eve at the emergency room of a big teaching hospital is 21st century bedlam. I've had to come here 3 or 4 times over the years, as a reporter, when festive mayhem erupted into fatalities. Richard says they've given her all kinds of tests, and then she spent half the night waiting for a room to open up here in the intensive care ward. She looks tired, and about 10 years older than the last time I saw her, which, I'm ashamed to admit, was more than a year ago. She's sleeping when I come in, but as I take a seat beside her bed, she opens her eyes. "Willie," she says weakly. She thanks me for coming. She asks me about Cindy, whose name she remembers, despite the fact that she's only met her once, and then about Peggy, whom she's known since before I was born. I answer her questions and wait for her to get to the point. She's got a tube stuck in her nose and has to time her words with her breathing. "I want you to do something for me," she says finally, taking hold of my hand. Her grip, despite her diminished condition and the fact that she can't weigh much more than 100 pounds, is strong. It is the grip of a woman who spent the better part of 30 years fighting like hell to get her son out of prison when everybody else thought he was guilty as sin. "I want you to go out to Evergreen," she says. "I want you to take care of Artie's grave." I nod my head, dumb as a post. "I've been doing it up till now," she says, "but I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep it up." She turns toward me, her near-death clutch entrapping my wrist. "It's a terrible thing," she says, "to be forgotten. I don't want Artie Lee to be forgotten." I nod my head like I know what the hell she's talking about. Then a tiny bulb lights up inside my hungover brain. Evergreen. Evergreen Cemetery. I've never been there, but we've done stories about it in the newspaper. It's somewhere on the eastern edge of the city.